And that's the beauty of trading. The market literally does not care about your gender, unlike certain professions like in real life. The market doesn't care about what you look like, if you have money, just like do the right thing.
Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, where we document the stories of Black entrepreneurs around Canada. I am your host, Nina Barango, and together we will explore the world of entrepreneurship through the journeys of our incredible guests. Let's get started. Today we have Eva.
Hi.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, sure. My name is Eva. I'm a day trader, and I'm also the founder of ChartNationFX, which is a trading education platform.
Do you know what? Like sitting in front of the screens right now, I feel like I'm at what was that thing called, NASDAQ or something like that, where they have all the screens, and I just feel like what's going on in the markets today? You know, like what's going on? Mm-hmm. But first, tell us, what exactly is Forex trading?
Forex trading is you taking advantage of little fluctuations in the prices in the foreign exchange markets.
In English, what does that
mean? So basically, the exchange rates of different currencies change over time. Right. And they change like every day, every second, really. So when they change, you're able to take advantage of those little changes, basically.
So for example,
let's say the current exchange rate for US dollar versus Canadian dollar is, let's say, 1.3, right? If I'm anticipating for it to rise based on my analysis, I can make any amount of money I decide to make in that little movement. So let's say it's going to rise to 1.4. So I can put in a certain amount of money and then I get in any amount that I want, basically.
Okay, but where are you putting the money? Like, you know my problem, like, again, we're on NASDAQ, I need to act like I've been here before, but the truth is I haven't. And whenever people that trade tell me this thing, I'm just like, okay, yes, Canadian dollar to USD is crap sometimes, but like, first of all, where are you putting the money? Secondly, how are you even tracking in the first place? Because like, don't you guys sleep? Like, how does it work? Because I feel like most of these things happen at night. Like, but what I'm trying to get at is like, what does it mean when you say you can just put in any amount you want to make and just make it?
Okay. So that's a good question. So we have platforms, right? Just like you have Wealth Simple and you deposit money in there to like buy a stock. That same way we have Forex brokers.
Right.
So we fund an account, and when it's time to actually buy or sell, we go into our platform and we press buy or sell, basically.
Okay, I mean, like if you say it's just like Wealth Simple, that kind of makes sense to me because like I've used Wealth Simple before. I use Wealth Simple. I've worked at Wealth Simple, so like I kind of have like little knowledge around like all these. I don't want to say imaginary things, but it seems imaginary to me because it's like, okay, you see the tables, you see the charts. The charts are telling you that okay, this thing might rise, and so you now buy a bunch of it, hoping to sell it at a higher price. Is that basically what
that is? Basically what it is.
Okay, good. Now, like, how did you even know this was something that you were good at? Like, have you ever seen someone do like a very complex painting and in your head you're like, how did you even know you were able to do something like that? That's how I feel when I see you or hear you talking about Forex trading. Like, how did you even start trading, or like how did you even know this was something for you to do?
Honestly, with all transparency, I never knew about the stock market until COVID happened. So it was COVID that kind of like put the light in my heart regarding trading. So what happened was I was a college student. Of course, I was broke. And
please.
And I needed another source of income because, like, you know, stuff was happening around the world, you know, people losing their jobs. And it dawned on me, like, you know, in terms of longevity, 9 to 5 is not going to cut it.
True.
In terms of, like, how I want to live my life and all of that. So I was just browsing, you know, through YouTube. At the time, you know, classes were canceled, so I had a lot of time on my hands, right? And I was actually just looking for how to invest money in the stock market. And, you know, YouTube will automatically, like, recommend stuff. And then it started to recommend Forex. I was like, what is this Forex thing? And then I'll watch videos of people making money. Like, I saw a guy make, like, $400 in the same day. I was like, there is no way this is real.
That's wild.
Yeah.
400 in the same. You know, the thing is, I've watched too much movies. That's my problem, actually. I've actually been watching a lot of movies. And anytime, like, basically, anytime I see all these, like, Forex type things, it's always, like, all these people that are trying to, like, scam their way.
Oh, my.
Like, no, I know this is very somehow, but, like, it's like, you'll now see the person who will be in their glass type. And it's typically a man, right? It's typically a man that's trading. And then he has his, like, glass view of the city, for example. Then he'll not say, oh, we just took a big hit. And then before you know, one thing, he'll just be like, oh, we made it back times 10 or something. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, that does not sound like a straightforward path. Do you get, in terms of buying and selling, that's straightforward. Like, okay, I'll give you this, you give me that. But then, like, I've seen a lot of people say they've made so much money from it. And a lot of people also say they've lost so much money.
Yeah.
Was that your experience starting out?
Yes. I lost money maybe every day for 2 years.
Sorry, come again. What do you mean for 2 years? Okay, if you say for 2 months, I'll say, okay, persistent. Okay. 2
years.
How much are we talking? $10? Like,
no, I'm talking. I mean, I was a college student, you know, out of college and all of that. So I was just putting money here and there, maybe like 400. You know. Yeah.
Okay, but you established that you were a broke college student.
Yeah, and that's the issue, right?
Okay,
so
good.
I had to figure out a way to fund my trading, will I say career or business. So I had to, like, take extra shifts here and there, you know, things like that, just to have money to trade with. But then I was, like, losing the money, so.
Okay, so you work, take your salary, trade, you lose your salary.
Yes.
Good. And you did that for 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but
that sounds crazy.
That sounds kind of wild to me.
Yeah.
What was going through your head at that point?
I was thinking of the future. I wasn't thinking of, like, tomorrow. I was thinking of, okay, when I have kids, what am I going to do?
Right.
Do I want to, like, be out of my house every day, you know, chasing the corporate ladder, going downtown Toronto? Fine. Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's cool if that's your thing, but that's not my thing.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking of. So at the moment, losing $400 didn't, like, it wasn't anything to me with regards to, you know, working for my future.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's what was going through my head.
Now that you mentioned downtown Toronto, because when you think of Bay Street, you think finance bros. And in fact, today I dressed like one, based on, like, you know, their shirt is always starched. It's almost as if, but you know, these people are the most sleep deprived people. They don't actually have a life. Right. But, and if that's, you know, offense, but they keep pushing, you know, but, like, when you think of the finance world or, like, scene in Toronto, for example, or trading, when I think of trading, I think of a man, right? And a specific type of man. Yeah. But you're here 2 years in as a college student, not a man, not a rich man, but you're trading. What was that like for you? I'm stepping in.
Honestly, first of all, I was learning from, like, a lot of people online, and even till this day, I probably know only 2 female traders.
Wow.
Like, till now, and I'm 4 years in, right? But in the same sense, like, and that's the beauty of trading. The market literally does not care about your gender, unlike certain professions, like in real life. The market doesn't care about what you look like, if you have money, just, like, do the right thing. And that's the thing that drew me to trading is, you know, come rain, come sun, I don't have to look a certain way to make money in the markets. What I did was, till now, whenever I see traders, I don't really look at what you look like your gender or your color, is your knowledge. Like, what's coming out of your mouth? Are you actually speaking facts, or are you like, So that's how I see it.
So what would they say that would make you think, oh, okay, there's somebody that knows what it is? 'Cause I want to present as that kind of person.
Yeah.
If I say, oh, okay, what's the market saying? I'm seeing a downward trend,
Yeah. So regarding that, I think for me it has evolved over time, because at the time I thought the more money you post on social media, that means that you know how to trade, but that's not really the case. But now that I'm knowledgeable about the markets, if a person is talking, I know, okay, this person actually knows how to trade, and they're not bluffing and things like that. So it's using certain like market terminologies, not trying to be cocky or overconfident and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so not being a man, basically. I'm joking. Okay, so 2 years in, you were losing a lot of money, but you were learning about trading during the pandemic online. How did you go from that to now having ChartNationFX, a business that not only trades but also teaches people? You have masterclasses and all of that. How did you go from that position of like you're losing 400 per week or what, bi-weekly, because that's when your paycheck is coming, to now teaching others how to?
I would say that was a very, very painful process. Very painful. Because I was an international student, and you know that you're paying bank every semester and all of that. So it was very painful, but I understood that you just have to keep pressing. Personally, when it comes to like building businesses, that was the only thing I could see myself doing. So I better just continue doing it, right? But I just had to continue learning, and I learned so many wrong things in search for the right knowledge. But honestly, it's by God's grace that I kept going, because there were just so many obstacles, and that's why I created Chart Nation, to provide like a simple way of trading, because there are multiple ways to trade the markets. People could make $1,000 in like 2 minutes, and so on and so forth, right? But there is a simple way to go about things that people are not aware of, and that's how I trade. That's what I teach as well.
Okay. At what point did you decide that you were going to launch Chart Nation, and what was that like?
Initially, I believe that was in 2022, maybe towards the end of 2022. I just started like posting random stuff on social media about trading, and I saw a lot of people like reaching out to me and even wanting to like pay me to understand what I know in the markets. And that's when I realized that a lot of people have too much of a knowledge gap. And at that time, I wasn't completely ready to be out there, right? I felt like I needed some more definition in my skill level. So it wasn't until the start of this year, 2024, that I actually started teaching more often. Because before this year, I would teach people like kind of like in the back end for free. We'll just like hop on a Zoom call and I just show you a couple of things. But this year I just opened it up to the public, just to help people, really.
What was, because maybe somehow, do you get the moments right now? A lot of people have been getting their accounts have been getting hacked on Instagram. So the moment somebody out of the blue starts posting something, and I'm just like, this person has been hacked now, like. So, and especially with Forex, I feel like financially, and maybe this is just my opinion, but like a lot of Canadians or like people of color in Canada are not necessarily like the first people to jump at like something this risky. First of all, if you tell an international student that come and trade, you might lose $400 bi-weekly. That's where you will lose me, because it's like, how much am I earning? Do you get? And so I guess I'm curious, like when you started like talking to people, whether it's the free classes, whether it's now that you're hosting master classes, like did you see or did you experience this hesitation to put your money in something that you can't actually touch or feel.
Yes, all the time. People are very, very skeptical about the financial markets. And it's very understandable because a lot of times the stuff that goes around is how someone was scammed. They gave money to somebody to trade and the person lost the money, da 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 da. But the truth is, again, there is a huge knowledge gap especially in our community. The knowledge gap is so huge that it would take a lot to close it. And part of the reason why I started my brand is to shed some light. Because if you actually know what you're doing, this can literally liberate you financially, right? But again, if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to like make you so broke that you hate the markets. And I guess that's what a lot of people are facing. I also noticed that a lot of people are so risk averse. Like they don't like to take risk. They're just like fine in their little bubble of like go to work, come back, which is completely okay. But eventually your eyes will open. Your eyes will open and realize that listen, the inflation, the recession, interest rates, da 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 da, it's not commensurate with the income, right? So you have to do something. Start a business, start trading, start investing. You need to pick a side eventually.
Especially if you live somewhere like Toronto, like
yeah.
I think a lot more people are just like realizing that, you know what, like I'm tired of chasing a comfortable life in a city that just seems set against me.
Right.
Even if you're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, people are now even saying that like with 3 jobs it's still not enough. If you want to buy a house, if you want to have kids, and like, bro, have you seen how much daycare costs? Like,
listen, I know. I have a daughter. I know.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And in addition to the cost of daycare, like it's not even. We are on a wait list. We've been on wait lists like more than 8 for over a year now.
What?
Yes. So if I had a 9 to 5 that required me leave the house, what am I going to do to my daughter?
You can't bring your daughter to work day. I don't get
every day.
Like it's actually wild, like how unsustainable our lifestyles are like honestly, right now. And I think everybody is just living day to day, like where will my next bag come from, like how would I survive the next day. And so maybe what is contributing to this risk averseness is the fact that people are already mentally under so much pressure,
right?
Like for you to I feel like a lot of people would first need to pause, think long term, and then say, okay, let me actually figure out something that will help me live more sustainably. Right. But like the truth is that like a lot of us, especially younger people, even older people, maybe, like I'm not old so I wouldn't know, but like especially a lot of young people, like they're under so much pressure to like get it right, to survive, to like eat, to like get a nice place. So it's like, how do we even now say, okay, I'm going to start trading,
right,
and I'm going to be willing to lose first? So maybe if they come to you, they don't have to lose first.
That's the point.
Okay.
That's the point.
So if they come to your master class,
you're
teaching them what you learned that helped you stop
losing.
So
I'm literally giving you my bread and butter on a platter of gold. So you don't have to spend 2 years and even more losing or confused. So yeah, that's the point of Chart Nation.
Interesting. Have you ever gotten any like comments around like, or have you ever like noticed any skepticism that stems from like you being a woman teaching or being in a male dominated space as a female trader?
Not yet, actually. A lot of people are very, very receptive and they find it amazing that I'm actually a female, but I don't find it amazing, to be honest. I don't, because again, it's literally just a skill. Just like you go to school and learn math, you have maybe the person sitting next to you is a guy.
Right.
It's not really a big deal to me. It's just, I guess women are not exploring that option, but
people don't know. Like, to be honest, when I was asking earlier, I'm just like, I have always like, I mean, I'm aware that there's something called Forex trading, but I've always just felt like, okay, this thing that like these people are supposed to do, like, you know, when something just seems so far off from you, where it's just like, okay, if I'm looking for a second source of something, like maybe there are some things that are that will come first to mind. Trading will probably be like number 100, like
Honestly.
on the list of things. And I think it's because, again, back to what I said earlier, there's a certain demographic
That goes into it,
and not being part of that demographic is also just like, okay, so what am I going to do there? Do you get? So, but no, it's interesting that you said you don't find it interesting that you're a woman in trading. I think that's funny. But so what exactly does Chat Nation offer? Like, I know you've talked about the classes. What else are some of the things that you offer on your ChartNationFX?
Yeah, so we are growing.
Okay.
So the whole idea or the whole concept behind it is to provide a method of trading that is simple and precise, right? Something that doesn't seem so complex and far off, something that is easy to understand in a short period of time and can equate to money. That's the concept behind it. So in order to fulfill that, we do things like free monthly master classes. We also offer one-on-one coaching guidance in case you just need a one-on-one session like with me. I also offer boot camps. So our boot camps are more in-depth, 21 days of in-depth trading training from like novice to like the advanced. Yeah, so that I feel like that's the main concept that we are on right now, but we also offer a playbook. So regarding like my method of trading and its accuracy, I was able to document the entire process. So if you have some level of knowledge about the markets and you don't want to take classes, you just need like a strategy, a method of attacking the markets, then we have the playbook option for you. It breaks down different market conditions and what exactly to do when the market is going in a particular direction. It offers risk management strategies, journaling, and all of that. So, yeah.
Interesting. I never thought. I mean, obviously, it makes sense that there could be a playbook to trading. I've just always felt like it's the kind of thing that, as the wind blows, you just kind of blow it. Clearly very unserious when it comes to these things. But if someone with zero knowledge came to you and they were like, I'm interested in that, like, where would you say they need to start?
I would say you should start with some basic searches online. Just to understand what you're actually getting yourself into. So just quick searches on YouTube and Google, like, what is Forex? Do people make money from Forex? How long does it take? Just watch other people's point of view before you actually decide to dive in. So you understand what you're getting yourself into.
She said, figure it out before you come, so that the day you lose money, you won't be shouting. No, that's fair, because I find that a lot of people, again, back to the thing about pressure to survive. So a lot of people that jump into things now, it's more so from a survival point of view.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily from longevity, or maybe passion might be sprinkled here and there, but it's never really that. It's more so, how do I make enough money to cover rent and all those things, or even just to buy food and eat? Do you get? And so when they jump in and they realize, it takes work, or it takes, in your case, understanding properly how to trade, how to understand the market and all these numbers we're seeing on the screen, then it's kind of like this is not what I signed up for. Have you ever gotten something like that before?
All the time. So there's this thing called signals in trading. So where, for example, a mentor or an educator would tell you when exactly to get into a market and when to exit. More like spoon feeding you, like, okay, buy now, close, sell now, close. So people that want to take signals, they don't want to learn. They just want to make some quick money here and there. But I'm completely against that.
Really?
Yes. Now, I personally provide insights for my students. I let them know when I'm getting into a market, when I'm getting out, for my mentorship students. However, providing signals is something that I don't see myself doing, just because I feel like trading is something that you actually need to understand for it to make sense. Because here's what happens. When a profitable trader goes through their trading cycle, they have to go through a period of losing. It's necessary.
As far is a criteria.
Yeah, it's P and L, like profit and loss.
Gosh.
So
So I thought you said you figured out a way to trade without losing money.
That's the thing. You can't trade without losing money. However, when you add the P and L together, it equates to profit.
Okay, so it nets in the end.
Yeah. So and that's the issue that people have, is the concept of losing. But see it as, if you have a business, you have income and you have expenses.
True.
So your losses are your expenses.
Okay, but like as a business, like I'm not losing 400 biweekly.
But that's the thing. So we have what is called risk to reward. Right? So if I'm going to place a trade today and risk maybe $400, my reward is probably going to be 1,200. Right? So even if I take a loss tomorrow of maybe 200, 400, I'm still in profit. $1,000. That's the concept.
Even me now, I'm just like, because initially when you said the signals, I was like, oh, that's great. Like if you just tell me, okay, buy now, or okay, I should buy, or okay, I can sell now. That's the kind of thing I like to do, because like, so that if I lose, I say, oh, it's that person that told me that I should sell.
And that's where another issue lies, because people are basically giving off their responsibility to another person. So it's like, even if I take a loss, it's that person that made me lose. It's not because I was wrong or something, so and because a trader has to go through the P&L cycle of maybe over 100 trades, 50 trades, you lose a couple of them. The trader that is taking signal, I won't call them trader, the person that's taking the signal to buy or sell, they don't understand what's going through the trader's head.
Right.
So they don't understand the strategy. They don't understand what's going through the trader's head. They don't understand anything. They're just like, okay, yes, I'll just like buy or sell. I made money. I'm happy. I lost money. This trader is bad. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. If you want to learn how to trade, I can teach you, but I'm not going to spoon feed you.
Right.
No.
I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand where they're coming from, because it's just like I'd rather blame someone else for something than and also like I'm assuming taking signals is faster. Like you can easily just enter, do your thing, come out. I don't know if it's something you just enter. I don't know if it's like a one-off thing. Like, do you have a subscription to the market?
Yeah, you have a subscription to the signal service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you subscribe, maybe for a month, whenever you get the signal, you just like quickly go into your app.
What if you're sleeping when you get the signal?
You missed it.
Excuse me?
You missed the opportunity. There will always be another one.
It's so high pressure, man.
But it's not.
Oh, really?
It's really not. That is when you overthink it, because the market is literally always moving. And going to what you just said, what if you're sleeping? We have trading sessions. So we are in the Eastern Standard Time session. So we are basically in New York time zone. When we are asleep, the London session is active. So it's like there's always a session active. So there's always opportunities, basically.
Right. But like, who is the person running the London session?
The markets.
Good. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I see where
based on the fact that like I understand all this. Remember earlier I was telling you something. It sounds like something I learned in economics or the market. At that time, because it was such textbook information, I was like, okay, maybe the markets actually stands for something else. But then growing up and realizing, it's just markets, and it's just like you can just point and just be like, yeah, the markets. Like, it's probably like, to me, it's just like, I hear you, but like, okay, who can I talk to then? Like, who is the person that is like, do you get like, if you buy something from IKEA, you can go back and be like, okay, this thing didn't click. Yeah. Do you get? Now, you're telling me that if I'm in Canada and I'm trading London time, Canadians are sleeping.
Yes. There's nobody you can talk to.
Exactly my point.
But you don't need to talk to anyone because you're just
just run it.
Yeah.
You take your L's, you take your wins.
Yeah.
Justin, this is so fascinating. Like, you have no idea how fascinating all of
Really?
this is to me, because it's just like, how? And honestly, I wonder if other people find it fascinating as well, or if they find it intimidating. But I can imagine in both of the shoes, it's not easy to say I don't know this thing. Do you get like whether I'm super fascinated by it and how like abstract it looks, or whether I'm super intimidated by how abstract it looks? Like, it's not easy to say I don't know this thing, because sometimes, especially maybe it's a finance thing, you guys have a way of making people that are not in the club feel like they're outside. Do you get?
Oh,
It's
no.
like, oh, we have P&Ls, we have signals. It's like, okay, English. Do you get? And it's like, oh no, you won't get it. You're not a trader. Like,
Oh no.
and so I feel like, at least from my perspective, as someone that is, if there's a level below novice level when it comes to Forex trading, I feel like that's where I'll place myself.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not necessarily easy for me to say, oh, I actually don't understand what you're saying, and I don't know if I want to be into something I don't understand. Does that make sense? Like,
It certainly does, because, we're in the world of knowledge and information, like it's literally everywhere. A person that is at your level and maybe they actually want to learn it, just a couple of searches. We even have ChatGPT, like
that's
just
true.
type in a couple of commands and it would literally give you the information.
Right.
Even on YouTube, Google, and it's completely understandable, because thinking about it, not a lot of people are doing this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
in our community, like not a lot of people are talking. Even if they do it, they probably do it behind closed doors, so they don't talk.
Why?
I don't know. Like,
Giving
you're a trader, be proud of yourself.
Maybe because there's a certain perception attached to it.
What is the perception?
I have no clue. Don't ask me. I'm just wondering why someone would be doing behind closed doors if they're not afraid of being like associated with something. But no, this is all interesting to me. But so you did this full time. You're a full time day trader, and you also run ChartNationFX full time. But as we've previously established, daycare is expensive. You have a daughter, you have a home, you have a family. What's it like for you balancing all of that together? Because like, I can just imagine, the markets are hot, if that's the thing. Markets are hot, you're trying to get everything. Meanwhile, you have to like do other stuff. But and then because you're working from home, there's this illusion of like, oh, like work and home are just like meshed together, intertwined. Like, and so it's like, oh, markets are hot. Sorry, I can't come to the door. Like, I need to trade. Don't you see? Like, what's that like for
sounds
you?
so funny.
Balancing?
Okay, that's a good question, and I get this all the time, like being a mom and all of that. So, well, first of all, that's the beauty of trading, because you have the liberty to decide your method of trading. You can have a method of trading that requires you to be seated here all day long, or you can have a method that requires you to maybe be here couple minutes a day, right? And that's what I do.
Really?
Yes. I don't need to. Honestly, I haven't been in this office in quite a few days. To be genuinely honest with you, I just wrapped up a 21-day boot camp, and I just like, the office is kind of like irritating me right now.
Fair,
so I need some time off. But I have my apps on my phone.
Right.
And if I need to execute a trade, I can literally just press buy on my phone and I'm good to go, right? And because I am 4 years into the skill, I already know my strategy at the back of my mind. So doing my analysis takes me less than 30 minutes to analyze the entire markets that I watch. The only thing that takes me a bit longer now is sending some information to my students. So I have to like kind of type up some explanation and stuff like that. And so the only time I'm kind of like under a little bit of pressure is when it's time to execute. Because sometimes I could be in an awkward position and it's time to press buy or sell. Like I could be feeding my daughter downstairs, or washing dishes, and it's time to execute.
Do you get like a notification time to execute? Because then I'll just show it to my daughter. Like, can you not see that things are going on?
I'm busy right now. So what I do is actually set alerts on my trading view.
Oh, okay.
to let me know when price has reached a certain point. So when it actually sends me the notification, then I know whether or not it's time to execute.
Okay.
So when it's time to do that, I legit have to like pause anything I'm doing. I have to like wipe my hands. My daughter is so clingy, so I would legit like carry her upstairs. We come together. She usually sits beside me
While you execute.
Yeah.
Love it.
She watches me do the entire thing. But to me, it has really given me like my time freedom back, you know. So yeah.
But okay, what if you're sleeping and it's time to execute?
Then I miss the trade,
And
that's
that's okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, to be honest, like from hearing you, like it sounds like a very, very rewarding like journey. It sounds like something that you've been able to master, and it's not just like a shallow type of thing that you're doing. Like it sounds like a very, very rewarding thing that you're doing. And in fact, when people used to say, oh, make money in your sleep, they used to talk about real estate, but what they should have been talking about is Forex, because clearly all it takes is just, figuring out a couple of things, buy and sell, period.
Yeah.
But for you, looking back on these 4 years that you've spent, building up as a trader and all of that, what would you say? I guess you've kind of hinted at this at the beginning, but what would you say is something that you wish you didn't do, and what would you say is something that you're glad you did because it has now led you to where you are now?
Okay, so something I wish I did not do is watch all the YouTube videos in the world.
Really? But you just told me that now I should go and watch it.
Okay, when I said that, I actually meant like just some basic
101
stuff. Yeah,
right.
just 101. Then if you decide you want to do it, then you should get a program or a course that's going to teach you exactly what to do.
Okay.
But I, broke college student. I want to go the cheap route.
DIY.
Yes. And I DIY'd myself away from the market. I learned too much.
That's the thing?
Yeah. That is a thing. I learned too much. Like I literally learned maybe all the strategies ever. And that's the other thing about trading. It's supposed to be a simple concept. The process is supposed to be simple. Your analysis is supposed to be simple. But when you start to mix and match, like, okay, this person said when the market is doing this, I should do this. And, you start to confuse yourself, right? So I wish I did not watch all the videos, because then those videos turn to voices in your head.
Right.
Yeah. And something I'm glad I did is I'm glad I stuck with it. Yeah, I'm glad I stuck with it through the thick and thin, because like the world today is just unbelievable in terms of, okay, because I was working like up until like a couple months ago. Like I had 9 to 5 while trading and all of that. But you see the 9 to 5 thing, the salary that you receive in terms of like biweekly payments, it just wasn't equating. And I kept wondering, like, just imagine if I had quit, how would I be like surviving for real, with expenses and all of that. So I'm glad I stuck with it.
I love that. I think a lot of times when people talk about sticking with things, they always think, oh, it's one man somewhere that is maltreating you that you should stick with. But clearly, what people should be sticking to is things like this that help them achieve a level of financial freedom and even time freedom, where they can, like you, be a mom, be a wife, and still make money and still build a business that even helps other people achieve their freedoms. And I think that's the most inspiring thing to me about your story so far. If you have a piece of advice that you give someone that is starting out as a day trader, or starting, I guess, that's where they would typically start. You have to trade first before you can now teach, right? Yeah. What would you say to them?
I would say find one thing and stick to it. So in terms of your strategy, find one trader and learn from them, and only do that one thing. Because when you start to mix and match, that's when the confusion sets in, the unnecessary losses and all of that. In addition to that, risk management. You need to risk according to your skill level, according to your financial capacity, and according to your personality, right? So yeah, that's what I was saying.
So what you're saying now is that all those ENTJ personality tests, they also tie into trading.
A little bit, because so when I say personality, some people don't like to risk money, and some people don't mind risking money. Right. So you need to put that into account so that if you're actually going to press buy or sell, you're not risking more than your brain can handle, right? And in addition to that, your personality actually plays into the type of trading strategy that you use. Some people can stand like high volatility situations, and some people cannot. So you need to also put that into account.
Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense because you had said earlier that like if you try to mix different strategies into your strategy, it might not make sense because I guess those people have those strategies based on their personalities amongst other things, and so it's like you're mixing different personalities that might not even gel with yours. Honestly, quite frankly, I didn't know all of this goes into trading. I just thought it was just a thing of, honestly, before this conversation we just had, I thought it was a guessing game based on like, oh, I think this thing is going to be here tomorrow. And then you're like, oh, should I do now? Let me just do now. And then I can't even lie to you. And so for the longest time, like I just assumed that like, okay, maybe these people are just really good at, because there are people that are really good at like guessing things, and they will get it 9 out of 10 times. And so I genuinely assumed that was the required skill. Amongst like, oh, wearing suit and tie and all those things, Chelsea boots here and there. But no, thank you so much. I've learned so much. I'm also really inspired by your journey, like basically teaching yourself how to trade and then establishing yourself and your business, and now paying it forward and helping other people learn how to trade. If people want to find Chart Nation, how do they go about that?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, ChartNationFX.
It's on the shirt.
It's on the shirt.
Period. No, I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure.
And thank you to you guys for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Nina Barango, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.